Because what happened was I did this based on the PowerPoint and I read through it like today at work. I went, I need to put more on it. So there's stuff missing because I'm an idiot.
You're not. Make it clear when you're starting, John.
Yes, please. Have you got yours yet now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. It's there. Somewhere it's floating around up there.
I think
I don't know.
Santa's looking. You can put
Yeah,
me
man.
there. I don't know where that's going. Oh, should we start then?
I'll be down in a second, just finish this.
Where are we waiting for? Hina and Kelly? Oh no, Kelly's here.
Let's hear them.
Wait, you can get the video.
Bridget, we're waiting for Hina.
Yeah.
You need to come join us, Bridget. We need to
One second, just finish my
That's what it's on, of course, isn't it? If I know that. Just like this.
Yeah.
Come on, look at this, man.
Oh, you saying
Teaching. Loving this.
But then again, you would like to go natural up there.
Next week, I'm totally autocratic. That's it.
Get up and listen.
Every time.
Hina, come sit with us.
Well, when I was doing mine, I think it's okay.
He's not ready for rehearsal yet.
Yeah.
No, you do it in front of your class, aren't you?
Sit where you got Hina.
Gently suggested that because I've got to go Sunday. I've got to go and buy all the stuff for.
You need to sit and grip the
Get it
ass,
all
come.
done,
Bridget can
and
sit
then,
over there then.
you know, like thinking ahead and planning for them as well. And it's like that means normally sometimes I don't turn up at them. You know, you've got to go, haven't you?
What about the expensive one?
They're all going to. I'm going to do readings and they're going to do it around. They're going to do a bigger one. But where that. No, I've had to get it.
Wait for Bridget. Bridget! No, I'm laissez-faire, I am.
Yeah, well, I like him, you are.
McDonald's and stuff like that.
I just don't like faffing.
For their opinion, you think you're getting nothing to it.
How
do you think we could speak this up?
I mean, you know, you've got to just get on with it. Stop faffing.
I don't know.
They're faffing around, doing it the long way around. They warm me up, because I know they get it done quickly.
Sometimes we all need to
Everyone has to run wide the lane, you know what I mean? Yeah, because
Where do I have to sit, sir?
sit on the back table with a
On the
chair.
back table,
'Cause
with
we've
the
got two
naughty
groups of
ones.
four.
Okay?
Do you want to sit with a group, Diane? They don't stink.
write down because I'm left-handed.
No, yeah, alright then. I'll say sit with
That's
me.
why. That's the only reason why.
Make Hina move.
Hang on, let me go. Yeah.
You sure? You can sit there if you want. I'm not only joking.
I need some coffee.
You're comfy, yeah?
Yeah.
I'm just left-handed.
Apologise for the 5 metre VGA cable.
I'll put something on that.
You can't trip on it because it's alright because it's 5 metres. So, welcome to Autism 101. You're not going to learn everything about autism, just the basics. So you're going to get fed a hell of a lot of info, but I'm only scratching the surface because it's terrifying how much knowledge there is because it's such a new thing. Aspergers, what I've got, is not that old. Autism's not very old. It's probably less than 100 years old, really, in a sense that it's recognised. Asperger's was discovered by Hans Asperger, I think his name is, and it's only about 60 odd years old, I think. So that's why every day, every year, there's always a different fact and figure about autism because they are changing constantly. It's getting easier to spot. Right, like that. Right, the aim of today. By the end of the session, you will have a basic knowledge, understanding of autism. Your learner outcome is you'll be able to identify the triad of impairments and be able to say what it is, basically, in the basic term. Also, you'll learn about maybe some characteristics of autism can become learning barriers when you're teaching. Based on me, myself, and my own experience. So what I say isn't God's word, because everyone's different, do you know what I mean? But I can give you what I know about me and what I know about other people. Okay. This is the triad of impairments shown by that amazing effect. Right. It's called a triad for some stupid because there was only 3 things, but then someone decided there was a 4th. So now it's a triad with 4 things. I like to think of autism as a square pyramid with autism at the top, the 4th one in each corner. but that's not, like I say, God's word. Top one, social, communication and flexibility of thought, which can sometimes be called imagination. Give you a sec. Imagination isn't the creative sense of the word. That'll come clearer as we go on. And sensory issues, some people with autism can be oversensitive. Some people with autism can be hypersensitive or hyposensitive, where they'll crave it. So when you see a weirdo making a noise, it's because they crave it. Necessarily, they have to constantly make noise. Yeah, well, you get idiots to do this and this. That doesn't mean they're autistic. It's because maybe they crave it, because everyone's got an autistic trait. It's a fact. See, they may just crave the noise. I want to make a noise when doing it. Not because I want to annoy you, because I want to hear a noise. You see what I mean? It's comfort. Right, moving on. Social. This isn't everything. This is everything I could find on Google today. Social. They all may not know or understand the unwritten rules of socialising, like manners. They may know about them, but may not see the point in them.
The relevance.
That can be the difference between, there's a distinct difference between Aspergers and autism, and that comes across. Like someone with autism may know you meant to say please, but may not see the point in it. So they might go, why do I say please? You know what I want? Why should I say please? What's the point? Because it's kind. Why is it kind? What do you say to that? It's a logic loop, isn't it? Things like that. They may not be aware, so a lot of things are maybe need to be taught and things. They may appear to be insensitive, rude or arrogant. I know someone that Bridget knows that was very good at that. They don't mean to be, they just do. It'll explain more. They won't necessarily get jokes or sarcasm, so they might not even be able to tell a joke or get sarcasm. Like if you're being sarcastic, they might think you mean it. I remember one of my colleagues used to have seminars on jokes and sarcasm and sexual innuendos, so they'd understand how to get, so they could develop a sense of humour. You know what I mean? Like we used to have it at lunchtime. The bloke, you sit them down in a group and they teach them about sexual innuendos so they could understand it. Because you know how kids are 18, 16 and that, especially lads, because there's more lads with autism about than there is women. That's not necessarily true, it's just that it's easy to spot in men.
Oh, okay.
Actually, I'll tell you what, there's a very, you've all heard of Borat and Ash Baron Cohen.
Yes.
He's got a cousin who's the nation's leading autism expert called Simon Baron Cohen, Professor,
Yes.
Oxford, Cambridge. He says that there are two types of brains, male and female. Women are empathic, men are systematic. Autism is over-systematic. So that's why it's more men necessarily have spotted with autism. The reason why it's hard to spot with women necessarily because they've got empathy, which is something they naturally have, which isn't. So normally when you see a girl who's being diagnosed, it can be quite severe. Because women have the thing that people with autism shouldn't have naturally. That makes sense. Do you get the point? Yeah. They may prefer just to sit on their own. They sometimes, when they say they can't afford to make friends, they tend to alienate themselves without realising. So if you see someone that's isolated and they've got autism, it's not because no one likes them maybe, it's because they do it to themselves. They don't realise they're doing it. Does that make sense as well?
But they love their own company, don't they?
Not always. People with Asperger's want to socialise, but they struggle to, and that's why they get so upset. But then someone with autism doesn't see the point. If he can do it himself, why would he ask someone else? What's the point? It's all that logic. Yeah, everything's linked to logic. You can't just say something like when you try and get someone with autism to do something, there's got to be logic behind it. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
There's got to be a point to it.
Yes.
Like, for example, like with me, it's the same with a lot of people. Like with certain things at school, I'm autistic, and they say, "I'm never going to do that. Why should I do it now?" Can't win, can you? But he appeared to behave strangely or inappropriately, not realising what they're doing. They might just like to make noises for comfort, and it looks a bit odd, or they just do things that are inappropriate without realising. Yeah, they just.
So, would you say that all of us are autistic in some ways?
No, you have to be autistic. You have to have every single part of the triad. So you have to be affected by all parts of the triad. But everyone has some form of trait. Because it's basically, I like to think of it as, you know, how you get, imagine you've got like, hold on, I've got a pen here. It's all low, child and safety. Oh, good, like. Should have checked this before I started. Jesus! Oh, God. There. Is there any more flip charts?
Can we turn it round? What about on the other side of it?
No, actually,
Oh, yeah, I've got that. It's alright, it's alright.
Have you got some?
Yeah.
Because you can always turn it around.
How much? Alright,
Have you
right.
got a pen? Got a pen?
Right, think about this. You get a red light bulb. Yeah, red to red, yeah?
Yeah.
Right, that's a normal, yeah? Green to green, that's a normal brain, yeah? Works pretty damn well. Autism brain. Works exactly the same, but it's different, and it may not work as well. It may not, like for example, that might go bing straight up, but it might not. You know what I mean? Think of autism brain maybe as an energy saver light bulb. It's a light bulb. You know what I mean? It's like that, isn't it?
Sometimes, not all the time.
Not all the time, but sometimes it just doesn't click, and you have to give it a bit of.
Another work on it.
Yeah, exactly. Another good rule to write down is we call the 8-second rule. If you ask for teaching, if you ask someone with autism a question and they sit there going, count 8 in your head, 8 seconds, and if they still haven't answered, reword it. Don't come straight in, never. Because it makes them stressed. And it makes, because what it does is because the brain's moving slower, it makes the brain start from scratch. Because it's just info at the end of the day.
So are you saying aspergers' brains work slower?
Not necessarily slower. They may, like, for example, I like to think of it as a lot of people with autism in life, in general, they say, well, it takes, why is it some people are ahead of me, why is it some people are behind? I'll say at the end of the day, think about it this way, you've got to get through a brick wall. Some people have to take it down one brick at a time, some people can push it straight over.
That's it.
It's got nothing to do with how the brain works, because it can actually work quicker. And
But it takes a longer route.
my student's brain, I'll tell you what, it works so quick. He's like that. Yeah, come to that a bit later. I don't know how much I've done. I don't know how long I've been doing it. I don't know. 10 minutes. Communication. Inability to maybe read facial expressions or the tone of your voice. So if you've got a naturally low tone to your voice, they might think you're home. Or or they might things like that. Because a lot of people tend to be when they're in when they're not happy, they don't really have a facial expression. They just come across a bit. They may not know you're angry. They may not. They just won't think. If it's not if it's not necessarily exaggerated, they may not get it.
Yeah, it's about perception.
They haven't got it necessarily. They may do. They may not. Yeah. Body language again. Can't read. Also, sorry with this. Tone of voice and facial expressions. They may not be aware how they're doing it themselves. Because a lot of people with autism may look grumpy, they may look sad, they may look, but they don't know they do. And they may not be aware. And also same body language, they may not be able to read yours, and they may not be aware of how they're coming across.
Yes.
And that comes clearer as it goes on. Literal thinking. I hate to use Kelly's example, but Kelly's PowerPoint was actually a really good autism-friendly presentation. Well done, Kelly. In my opinion, because there was no major animation, very basic, straight to the point, no jargon, no nonsense. Nice, like it. Try not to animate your PowerPoints too much. At maximum, just do a dissolve, like I do. Honestly, because I used to throw me like. It'd throw me off sometimes. That's me though. Literal thinking. If you say like a saying, they might take it literally. Like pull your socks up. They may pull their socks up. It's raining cats and dogs, is it? Can't see the cats or whatever. I've got a book on that actually, it's brilliant.
Subtleties of the language.
Exactly, it's amazing stuff. Honestly, some of the things I say and I'm like, and the students, and they're like 1980 and they're like, what? They take it literally. Talk about the same things, someone with autism may have a specialist interest, well, they will have a specialist interest. And if they start talking about it, they won't shut up.
Does that interest change from time
It can change, mine does.
Yeah, yeah.
It's always something similar, but it can change. Like, a lot of people have the same things and it's constantly, it's like, oh God. I mean, I've known someone for about 4 years and it's the same stuff all the time. Honestly, it's non-stop. So, like, they don't know when to stop. They don't know when people are bored. They just keep going. Things like that. They're not percepting your...
Yes.
It's all linked. Some of these do cross over, by the way, I should have said. Next one. Flexibility of thought or imagination. They love routine. Same things all the time. Like Reiki, they'd hate it. On paper, they'd hate Reiki. I like it, because that's the way I am. Routine, if something changes, they don't like it because, once again, they've got no imagination. So if something isn't follow the routine, they can't imagine what else could happen. So it sets them into panic.
I suppose it's comfort zone, isn't it?
It's comfort zone.
If with the routine, they know what to do.
A friend of mine always said, the one I was taught there, Aspergers brain also is like a tunnel, forward constantly. As soon as it turns off,
Lost.
wow. Be amazed. Be amazed how upsetting it can be to deal with a room change at the college. Honestly, it's trauma. It can be. Someone it could traumatise. It could almost be like panic, desperation. It can be quite. But at the end of the day, in my job, it's tough. We have to tell them that. The world can't change for you. You need to know that these things will happen. We have to say it, because what can we do? We can't.
Well, you've got to do the best you can and prepare them.
Well, you can, but sometimes we're as dumb as the students in some respect, because we only know what they know, because we go to the lessons like everyone else. And we don't work for I don't work for the college, so I'm out the loop. So, like, executive function, there's another slide on that. You may have heard of it. Who's heard of it? No, great, brilliant. Organisational skills, rubbish. Mine is not very good at it necessarily. They meant thought-wise, paper, classics, bag of folder. Where's your work? Any 9 times out of 10 student supported advice has got a folder. Got one of your lot.
Yeah.
Business, why? Nightmare. That's it, too much paperwork. Executive function, this all makes sense now. This is like this is a brain thing. So this is like a category of certain things that a brain will do. So an executive function includes things like making plans. So we're not making plans with someone or plans to do something, they may not be able to do it. Very much struggle. Timekeeping. I put multitasking, but it's also things like keeping track of more than one thing at once. So they might be able to just do one thing, tick it, next thing, tick it, instead of doing, I've got to do this, but while I'm doing that, I've got blah, 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 blah. So it's that sort of thing. Including past knowledge in discussions. So maybe when people talk about things that happen to them, they might be like, because it takes a bit longer to think about it. Like mum says to me, remember that time when we, I ain't got a clue, Mum. I've got no childhood, according to my brain. They may not be able to evaluate their own work, because once again, they can't.
Yeah.
So that can be a struggle. Change their minds. They went, oh, you're changing minds. This is part of the imagination. Necessarily, if they've got an idea in their head, they're shifting it. So like they've got, that's it. You can reason with them, but in my job that's not necessarily an issue sometimes, because sometimes they rely on you to make a decision. I'm not going to know, it's up to you. Do it yourself. It's not me. They may struggle to ask for help, because they may not know what to say, or how to say it, or what to do. They might not even know what they're asking for. Do you know what I mean? Research, once again, that's imagination. Where do I go? What do I do? Some society is common knowledge, but this is it's quite bad, isn't it? The amount of people with autism coming into college, the lifelong learning sector, it's quite scary, isn't it?
As long as they're identified, then
If they've got a
and they
diagnosis,
get the help.
it's on every college application.
Because imagine when
For
there
this
was no
course,
help.
I had to put it on the form and they phoned me. And they invited me to the DSA evening. I went, but I thought it was only 12 weeks, and the bloke said, I know you, Tom, you'll pass it, and you'll be fine. Maybe able to engage in group activities or discussion. Once again, then going back to socialising, may talk them all to death. They may not know when to come in, they may not be able to perceive when the best time is, they may be come across rude because they're interrupting. They may not see someone's point of view because they don't perceive. Complicated, isn't it? What's this one? Sensory. Check this out. How many senses do we have?
5.
How many?
5.
What are
Sight.
they? Smell, taste,
Touch.
all them? No! We actually have 7. You're right, you're 7. Sight, smell, hearing, taste, touch, proprioception, which is your body awareness. Being aware of what your body's doing. I am now aware that my legs are crossed. But I'm not aware, because of my autism, that I look really gay. But I do now, because I've just looked. So with autism, I stand like stuff like this all the time. I don't realise how gay I am, but I come across really gay, obviously. Some people with autism may not be aware of how their bodies are, so that's why sometimes it's quite common as well, something to do with something about dodgy walks. Apparently sometimes they can have a really odd walk, like a gay walk or something. Just read up about that, I was like, really? That was interesting. Sometimes, vestibular is the spatial awareness, like dyspraxia, the clumsy disease, clumsy syndrome, motor skills, comes into it, they're not aware of it. I am the worst person in pubs for knocking pints over. I'm appalling, honestly, I think I must have a good few. The amount of times I nearly hit people in the face just from talking because they walk past you. Because also, as well, especially, you know, you have that sense when you know someone's behind you. Someone with autism might not have that, so they can't sense the people around them. So they don't know. So, like, if there's someone behind me the whole time, I might not have known about it because I can't necessarily sense it. Quite odd, isn't it? We okay? We clear?
Yes.
Sorry, it's a lot of info. Oh, what's this one? No, there's more. I forgot. This is about, this is empathy. It's on wheels. This is like empathy and things like this is about perception. Theory of mind, the ability to put yourself in somebody's shoes. Put yourself in my shoes. So that's someone with autism, they go, are you wearing them? I'm not going to explain this because I can't, because it's complicated. But I've got a really good mate of mine called YouTube. Just going to help you out. This is a test. What the hell's happened here? Oh, sorry. This is a test that is done for people that's done to get to know if you've got autism. But it's one that they do on kids. So it's all kind of make you go, YouTube! It's called the Sally Ann test. It also can be called Polly Ann test. There's one called the M&M peanut test, which is amazing. I'll explain the M&M one afterwards. It's brilliant, fantastic. I love it. So it messes with my mind. It messes with your head. It's great, though. Is there sound? I apologise if there's no sound, but if there isn't, I'll talk you through it. It's alright, don't worry about it.
What about the speakers themselves, Tom?
What, you mean like
They
these?
just turn that up.
I have. Don't worry about it. Oh, it's not even loaded. Here, look. If not, I don't know.
That's really loud in that.
Get a grip.
It's still loading.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, that little
Is that why
thing going.
Oh, here we go.
Test for migraine is called the Sally Ann. It's a test that normal kids are expected to pass when they're 5 years old.
Right, okay, this is Sally,
Sorry.
and this is Anne. Which one's Sally? This. Well done, right. And Sally has got a basket. And Anne has got a box. And Sally has got a marble. And Sally puts her marble into her basket to keep it safe while she goes outside to play. while Sally's outside, naughty Anne moves the marble from Sally's basket into her box. Naughty Anne. So where's the marble now? Good. Where did Sally put the marble in the beginning? In the basket. Well done. So when Sally...
Where's Sally gonna? Is it Sally? Yeah. Where's Sally gonna go? Where's she gonna look?
In the basket.
In the basket. Put your hand up if you say basket. Oh my God.
We're not artistic.
Where does she look for her marble?
Robert should have said
Do you understand how?
Yes.
because that is where Sally, in her ignorance, would have thought it was. He hasn't mind-read the situation from her point of view. What is it about the autistic brain which means that
No one knows. Anyway,
That was very good.
that's normal. That's quite a normal thing to do. Like, next. Right, in your groups, 3 or 4, I've got a handout where you get me. You all got pens and stuff. I know. Right, I know it's your brains and stuff, but this is handy. Keep all this stuff, don't give it back, so I'm not marking it.
Fair enough.
Right, in your...
Natural thing.
Right, the task in hand is on your thing. I typed it out in a panic. My partner Mary said it made sense, but I don't believe it. In your groups of 3 or 4, if possible, look at your characteristics and discuss how they may become learning barriers. I was going to give it 5, but I'm going to knock it to about 2 or 3. So how long have I been going for?
25 minutes, you're fine.
Whatever. We'll give it 5 minutes then, and we'll just go over. I don't care. Bridget does it.
That's what we just say you have to copy me.
Right, right, 5 minutes go. If you need any help, Stassi.
Yeah.
What I found, that executive function bit really interesting.
You don't have to fill out all 5, just do as many as you can.
And I am forever getting into a phase. That is definitely a barrier, I think. Yeah. For, if you're going to business studies teaching, Kelly, there's so much of it is group work. It must be so difficult for you.
Yeah. Every aspect of it really, group work doesn't really fit.
Well, no.
What's the barrier?
Well, it's all the social aspects, not understanding, what people are meaning, the fact that they might not want to integrate in a group anyway, to be on their own. The discussion aspect, the fact that they won't change their minds, they might come round to a way of thinking.
What do you do then? Ignore them.
What's that?
What does it say what it's done? I don't. I'm quite careful. It takes time. I'm quite careful about the people that I group in with. Over time, it takes a few weeks.
Yeah, you can write, basically,
Who
this
gets
is a
some
barrier.
help?
You don't have to write one word. I've given you ridiculous amount of space so you can write in full sentences. So, just fit it up as much stuff, barrier is quite, these are quite specific as well. So you write that, you're going to think,
But it was like, I thought, oh, that's great, she's really sensitive.
technology is like, it's quite difficult. That's quite,
But it is about grouping. Because with the wrong group, he wouldn't stand a chance. But you don't know until the course.
they might be really into their gadgets because obviously if they don't socialise, they're going to be stuck in.
And like Tom was saying, when you can't say, well, that's when you do group work, so and so. You have to try and place it.
Yeah, it's wired differently. It's wired differently, isn't it?
A balance between group work and individual work.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. You can't all
It's true.
work.
It's true.
Variety.
It's very true. Just
Well,
like
like I said, try to keep this.
you've all got team names, by the way. And this team here is called the Dynamites, and that team's called the Bridgettes.
The Bridgettes.
I like the Dynamites the best.
Right, that's favouritism.
Dynamites.
That's favouritism.
What about that one?
I think the 8-second rule is interesting because that was lovely. You can actually jump in.
We've got about 2.5 minutes.
Because you'd be feeling a bit uncomfortable for a bit, sort of like, okay, does anybody else know the answer? Anybody want to help them out? That's a really good
So what's barrier? The barrier is 8-second rule.
And then like time to
Solution
answer.
is just
And it's the rewording of it there as well, isn't it? The solution.
Yeah, you've got to be thinking, it's not understood it from that. That's the way you phrase it. And all the time you're thinking, I don't really
If they know something's going to happen
as well.
and it changes, forget it. They're going to.
I mean, if you rephrase it in a different way,
I
you
get
still
annoyed
don't
by
get
it, but I don't. But I
They might
can
not
cope with it
actually know the
now. A
answer.
lot of people, my
Well, yeah.
assuming they're going to know what the answer
well, it depends on the person. It really, honest to God, it's amazing.
That's quite-
They've all got the
I
same
think
thing
they've
like these
got
kids,
often to
but they're so
reword.
different.
And you just sort of think, and you're
A lot of
blind
his
to blind,
personality
you
as well.
see
Different
things,
personalities.
Yeah.
Do different things better.
Maybe a bit slower, but yeah.
Louder at some point.
Yeah, louder.
Then you might sound like you're
What's
being
that?
serious.
So like really practical.
No.
Got extrasensory powers, and one of them can go, well, it's like you could go and see the vibration
And
stuff
flexibility,
and the communication system.
the routine and
Yeah.
But yes, it's true that
Organisation
it's getting me out of his routine, which is like me.
Yeah, I mean that's me because for example
True, yeah.
next week my second year, no, the week after my second year, study students don't know this yet,
About
but they're going on a 5-mile hike.
All of us
Now,
learners in some
you know,
way.
because
Yeah, it's
for
amazing.
leadership and teamwork, because of the process and everything else, and they've got loads of challenges.
They're just barriers,
Now
they're
this-
just general barriers, but because they're
He's actually in his
autistic,
first year
it can be a
now,
much
I think,
bigger
yeah.
thing.
I'll completely floor him next year if I do that.
But it makes you a very
You'll be
interesting
all over
Maybe
the
they
place.
should
You'll get in
with
the
him
minute
before.
Exactly, that's
Got a
what I'm
minute?
thinking now. You know, here, get in the minibus and you know.
Got a
doctor,
minute?
and I'll see
Yeah.
you 5 miles later.
Got a minute?
Absolutely.
Bridget, don't talk for Britain. They've only got, you've got less than a minute now. Get something written down. Dreadful you are.
Organisation routine would be
preparation.
routine then is a barrier and preparation.
Yeah, I hate eye contact. Hate it. Don't do
Yeah,
it.
preparation for
Hate it. Hate it. Hate it. You hate it. Hate it. Hate intimate conversations. Not that intimate. That's the point.
There's the whole point of the exercise.
Hate
is all
meetings.
the things that
Hate
can happen
meetings.
and not
Hate
be
them.
prepared.
Hate them.
If you're
Yeah,
prepared, you don't do the exercise.
Well, this is it, because I've arranged
I'm
things
trying,
like, you know, my
I'm
friends
funny
next door
about
are
it, I'm
actors, and they're going to be like coming up
It's hard to explain
up
because
at
it's different.
fields and sort of saying, you can't go walking
Yeah,
over
yeah, one there.
fields and all this sort of stuff. And
nightmare.
just be like, what?
No.
You know, I've got another one coming at me
Seven,
going,
six,
oh my,
yeah.
you know, I've been walking my dog and my
Four,
husband's been injured.
3,
and, you know,
2,
all this sort of
1. Bridget, be quiet. Okay, homies, let's do this. What have we got?
preparation, I think, you know, some things that
The
you
Bridgettes, please. You're being rude.
Oh,
We are ready to confer. Diana Mites, can you say something, please, for the board?
Change, we've got to try to keep everything the same.
Try to keep
Try to put something like the aesthetics of the room.
things the same. What can you do to keep things the same?
Keep the tables the same.
Keep tabs. What if you can't do that? It's a college.
Well then, arrange it before the lesson.
Ready for the lesson, so it's good planning. A good one, if you can. Reserve a seat. For people with autism to like a certain seat. Normal for everyone, really.
yeah.
Bridgettes. I want someone that's not called Bridget to speak. Because she's done talking for everyone. Go.
Students.
Social interaction with the group work. We said be mindful of who you're putting them with in the groups and do a variety of activities. It's not all group work.
Social interaction. Be careful. But also, that's a really good idea. But what if you do that and they think, why have I got to be put here when I want to go over there? You've got to treat everyone the same because it's inclusive learning. So what can you do?
Ask them where they want to go.
Not thinking of them as people, are you? Disgusting. Right, I'm joking. Diana might go on, Maxine, hit me with your rhythm stick.
You just think I was quite horny earlier.
You wrote it. I read it. Oh, shut up. Right, go for it.
Basically, rather than because you said that they can't or won't ask for help, recognise, do you know what I mean, or basically allow time that you can offer them help.
It's up to the G exactly. You need to get to know them, don't you?
Leave it open for them.
If they're autistic and they're in FE, there's a good chance they've got one of me following them. So you can. So we are not. We treat ourselves as being invisible to the class as much as we can. but 9 times out of 10 the class like us to be visible because they use us for their own advantage. So like, and some of the stuff do the chicken. And so get to know the student exactly. You know, you need to really work because honestly, you'd be amazed. The networking that's involved with someone with autism in a college is mad. I mean, you've got me, my boss, you've got my other boss. So I've got two. I've got a line manager, organiser, and I've got one who says he thinks this is best for him, this is best for him. He knows them, everyone. And then you've got the person in the college who may see them, who may do specialist support when it comes to organisation, search skills, blah blah. So it's quite a lot.
So you in your position, would it be you that spoke out and said, like, I think he needs help with this?
Yeah.
Or would it be the tutor who stands there and says, like, should we have to one?
The tutor, it's a bit about it. I can turn to the tutor and say, he needs this. And they go, okay. That tutor can turn around to me and says, he needs this. About this. I'm worried about this. It's teamwork. Bridget's. Go on, Sandra.
Oh. Sorry, it's a fly.
That's just dying.
Fly? Okay, fly. I'm not going to help.
What is it about this room?
Come on, Sandra, let's see your magic.
Dying fly. Just reiterated the 8-second rule.
8-second rule. Yes. How can you avoid having to use the 8-second rule?
So wait 8 seconds.
How can you avoid using it then? What's a good way in thinking as a teacher so you don't have to keep using the 8-second rule every time you ask him the question?
Don't ask questions.
No.
I don't know what that is.
Jargon free. Straight to the point.
What is the 8-second rule? I don't know.
If you ask someone a question and they sort of go a bit blank,
You mean to say they're more likely to understand it?
don't jump straight in and
Like, yeah.
leave them 8 seconds to think about it, and then rephrase and reword the question.
It's like when they say things like,
Thank you.
when you say pull up your socks, they might think to pull up their socks, they won't think to work harder. First thing that'll come in their head is that the socks are falling down their legs. So if you use jargon, they'll take it literally,
Okay.
and not in the expression, you feel that, like, yeah.
Yes.
So if you use jargon free, they may get the point, and it's short and sweet as well. If you can make it short like that, in groups 3 or 4, discuss this, bang. Do you know what I mean?
For the focus.
Exactly, bang, done. Nice and easy. Diana mites. You haven't spoken, Diana.
Oh, great. What was I to say?
Hit me.
Communication, that's good.
What about it?
Communication.
What about-
Talked about
What about it? Communication's huge.
it?
That's annoying and craving it.
Make it short. Short sentences, maybe.
Bullet point. Is that what you mean?
Plain.
Bite-sized chunks. Is that what you're saying?
Something along those lines. You're reading my mind. That's no good, is it?
So what's the barrier there then? That's the solution. I've got no barrier.
Oops. That's a very good question.
Do you know what? For you, I make it up.
Oh, bless you. Thank you very much.
Understanding the context, yeah?
Yes.
See, I'm good at this.
That's a very good
Right,
point.
Bridget's thingy, Angela, isn't it? Do you know what it is? 'Cause you're quiet, you keep your mouth shut, I don't know who you are.
Thanks, Phil. Routine, barrier.
Barrier, routine.
Yeah.
Why is that a barrier?
Upsetting the routine.
Setting the routine. To be honest with you, that is a barrier. But to put it blunt and swear a little bit, touch it. Because, got to treat everyone the same. If you really want to help them, you can inform one of us so we know it. Because their routine might be just to follow us. They might not be able to keep the day in their head. So it's up to us to keep it for them. So you may be alright because they'll just follow us and they might be like, this room's a bit different. Everyone has someone you know, Bridget. Yeah, right, strop! Because they have new computers in the room.
Yeah.
And do you know what's really weird? You can hear it. Can you hear that computer? Yeah. Think you better go.
But the thing is, the fact that you're there, then it's okay, isn't it? It makes it okay. At least for some of them.
Do you remember the old projectors when they used to write on the clear paper?
Yeah.
Oh God, no. Bad. Air vents, they hate them, they make so much noise.
That's interesting.
I hate, you know the shop Lush in Technedic, you've been to Lush before? Makes me angry, I can't stand it.
The
So
smell,
much,
it's the
so
smell.
much
Yeah.
stuff. Just think of everything as information.
Yes, but it's
Everything is information, and that's why people with autism struggle sometimes.
But you're missing some filters, basically.
Exactly. Angela, you said upsetting routine. Yeah, whatever that'll do. There are things you can do But if you don't know, they don't know. So it's, do you know what I mean? And also, it's tough, isn't it? They can upset their own routine. Everyone does it. Press snooze by mistake.
We all a work in progress.
Tom, you know you just said about ethics information, where like we can walk in and absorb, oh, the room's changed, or it's cold, or there's a noise, and we can get over that. Is it like they've got like so much like,
Sometimes.
and it's all messy in the
Sometimes,
head, and they can't
sometimes.
cope with like, how
Yeah,
much,
yeah,
they
that-
get like an overload.
Necessary, yeah. And
All
also,
this-
it
that's
might
what
be
causes the
that
problem.
they kind of like, and they kind of. Give us a minute.
Tom, you're talking about they, not we.
Yeah, because they're autistic.
Tom's not
All
autistic,
right,
he's
it's-
Asperger's.
I'm autistic myself. Sorry, am I being racist? Might be. Am I not? You feel like?
So what's the
I'm
difference
not-
between Asperger's and autism?
I think it's. Someone told me. One of my old bosses said that the difference between autism and Asperger's. People with Asperger's, like me, want to socialise but find it hard to. And people with autism don't see the point, maybe.
So it's a very fine line between Asperger's and autism.
Again, it's this whole idea of a spectrum, isn't it? I suppose.
Spectrum. It's.
Is it rubbish?
I don't know. Sometimes I think it is. Sometimes I think it's not. Because some people say like, you're right. There's high functioning and there's low functioning and things. I just think you've got it or you haven't. Some people's needs are more, regardless of autism or not. Do you know what I mean? So I think it is relevant in the sense of the syndrome, but just treat everyone the same. Forget it.
Because you're sort of making a diagnosis purely on the observation of symptoms, aren't you?
Yeah, but the diagnoses are very thorough.
You're only saying symptoms. There's no sort of.
There are it's the thing is, the reason why it's so hard to pin it is because they are literally characteristics. It's like personality. It's all.
I mean, I'm virtually Asperger's. Or
You may be.
Yeah. So that's it. I mean.
It doesn't mean you are. You might just have.
Different
Some
traits.
You just have a trait that comes across more in this situation. It's affecting you now more than maybe than everyone else, but doesn't mean you're autistic. I'm sure you know what I mean.
Yeah, but that's the interesting.
Like I could send Diane somewhere and she can hate it, and she might think, hold on,
Yeah.
it's just a trait. I won't worry about it. I don't think you're autistic. You're just opinionated. Pina. Okay. What? You've got one more, haven't you? I can see 5 boxes full.
No, I've got change of routine, communication, technology and social.
Technology, what's that?
Technology. I've said certain types of technology can irritate your concentration.
In what way? Too
Like
much.
when you said that PowerPoint, it's like too much on there, you won't pick it up as much.
Depending on the person.
Yeah.
What if their specialist interest is technology? Like me. And they love it so much they have to touch everything shiny and new and... Do you know what I mean? I mean, like, mine does that. Quite a lot of people are in computer rooms. I know it sounds stereotyping, but they're all relying games design. They love it. It's gadgets and it's on the computer. But also I think it's because they keep themselves to themselves.
I can see what you're saying now about the they and we. You're saying they as if.
Yeah.
They're all different. But yeah, I know, yeah. Right, Bridget, go on Bridget, speak. I know you've been dying to.
Or just the flexibility thing and the routine aspect. That concerns me because as a teacher I quite like to do unpredictable things sometimes, and
Well, that will happen, though, you know.
yeah, and one of the things I was sharing with the others I'm going to be doing with a group that our friend will be doing next year is in a couple of weeks' time they're just going to be loaded into a minibus, dropped off in the middle of nowhere, given some instructions, and I'll see them 5 miles later. And various things are going to happen along the way, like angry farmers coming at them and they've got to carry people and do all sorts of stuff. A lot of preparation would have to go into that, because that, you know, I'm thinking about that particular student next year when I do that again. But obviously I will work with my support worker.
Make sure they are aware, yeah.
Yeah, so they'll be made aware.
At the end of the day, it's not fair because you think someone with autism may not like routine. Oh no, whatever. But you don't know because he may love it.
The particular person probably will, because
yeah,
his big subject at the moment is leadership.
And
he's really, really
he's
fascinated by
so-
leadership.
Such
So
a
he-
hippie, so laid back.
Yeah,
he might just well, whatever, I'm going on a bus, man.
Yeah,
Whatever.
yeah.
He don't care. He don't care. He'll love it.
I'll try and Scooby-Dooby it up. Scooby-Doo it up.
He'll probably go, that was weird. He probably
Yeah,
with
yeah.
this person, it'll be more of a processing issue. So he'll be alright doing it, but he might. But it's because things are happening. It's like he might go a bit like,
Yeah.
because he'll have someone with him. No
Yeah.
problem. If you told me that and I was with him, like I used to be, I'd be like, brilliant, can't wait.
Yeah, and I think his support worker as well. I mean, she's very, very good.
She's amazing.
Yeah,
I love her.
Yeah, so you know that all that. But it's interesting. It might have just been so interesting as a practicing teacher to hear all of it.
Well, I don't know this.
Yeah.
Just to say, your ideas are very vague, but to be fair, I'm not expecting amazing things. Because I've only just told you, haven't I, about it? I know it's blunt, sorry, to the point.
Ooh, we're very contemplative.
Any questions?
Your honesty is very refreshing.
Any questions?
Yes.
Questions. Zillions of questions.
I am intrigued. The whole idea of what I will say is this whole idea. You keep saying, you know, treat them the same, treat them the same. But inclusivity isn't about treating people the same. It's
No, it's
about
not.
recognising difference.
But that's the
Okay,
point. But it's like, it's because it's very easy for us to patronise
Yeah.
someone with a known disability.
Yeah.
But the thing is, with autism, is that it's, although if they've got a wheelchair or they've got a bad leg or whatever, you have to treat them differently because there are things you have to do to allow them to come in.
Yeah.
But someone with autism, you can't, because guess what?
That makes them feel.
Can you
more
see it?
It's not
Yeah,
obvious.
yeah.
Is it here? Is
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's invisible.
Yeah.
And this is the issue with disability and things, because it's not visible to everyone. Some people may still think it's a myth, and some people do actually. I remember a comment on my YouTube video that I made, a documentary. It's just an excuse for people to be a knob, to act like knobs. He may have been joking, but it's a bit. I just thought it was funny because I've heard it before. I don't care. I think I replied to him saying live with it or something. But yeah, that's why we encourage not to be treated the same, because no one will they? Someone might think they'll just go, they're a bit odd, aren't they? That's what it comes across as, a bit odd.
To be honest, we're all odd.
Yeah, we are, but it's more.
to be fair to you,
Yeah, we
for me,
are.
it doesn't make any difference because I can see everybody in the descriptions, everything. We all got traits.
We can.
Well, yeah, but the thing is, with somebody, if they've got all of them, sometimes they can come across a bit. I mean, myself, I see it on other people, and I know somebody else who's not supported, who's got it, and sometimes I think, no. but I know, but because I know.
Yes.
Why aren't they supported? Because they don't
need
want
it.
it.
They just don't need it.
Oh, they
Sometimes
don't
they're
need
very
it.
able,
Okay.
and he's very motivated, and he knows
Right.
exactly what he wants to do, and his specialist subject is what he's studying. So he's so into it, he loves it, and he's fine.
Doesn't need any support.
Sometimes people don't, people do.
A lot of us wish we would have that, to know what we want to do.
The amount of students that tell me, I wish I had you following me for a day. Because I'll tell you what.
Well, you are right about how, I mean, you know the lady that supports them.
Oh yeah, they use
she's
it,
such
they
a
use
key-
it.
She's a key.
But the thing is though, we always do it because
Yeah.
we don't like to see anyone because...
No, yeah.
Yeah, what was the question? Did I answer it?
Yeah.
It is. I had a friend whose daughter had autism. Basically, when you first met her, I mean, she was a big girl and she basically kept herself to herself. But as I started to go over there a lot more often, I got to know her.
Yeah.
She approached me. That was fine.
That's a
I
big deal.
approached her, she was like,
That's a big deal.
And I mean, like
Approaching
even
you.
things down to like her pens and papers. She used to draw a lot. A fantastic artist, because I think she was like she got strengths. You know,
So it's a thing, isn't it? That's what they say.
But like, if you touched her pen and paper, it wasn't allowed. And silly little things, you know, she'd like go running down the street half literally naked, within her knickers. Do you know what I mean? And that means like, you know, you said about you're not aware of what you're doing. What's
That's
right,
flexibility.
what's wrong.
That's also like flexibility of thought. Like when I say about how do they think slower or faster, sometimes they think faster than most people. So it's like there's no thought process.
Like
They'll just do it. Like there are some severe people with autism who won't, if you're annoying them, they won't tell you, they'll just punch you.
What about the sense of danger as well? Because she used to go walking over like islands.
Oh yeah, she might not have it.
Supermarkets, in the shops, and literally she saw it, she'd take it off the shelves, think it was right.
Oh yeah,
Not
that's just.
passing over money, do you know what I mean? And then she wanted them, that was it. It was happening. And crossing roads, there was no like danger aspect of I could get knocked over by a car. And like you said, she wanted to do it, so she just did it.
Yeah, I think that's why.
There's no thought, is there? It's because it's like they just do it. I think my student is like, it's like having someone with Tourette's without swearing. He's dreadful. Like you say, his hearing is amazing. It's like mine. You can hear something from everywhere. If he hears something, and it makes him want to say something, he just says it. It's mad.
What about the medication, Tom?
No.
Well, my neighbour's got an autistic son, but he has medication.
Must be a behavioural thing then. It's not.
Is it like a sleeping thing or something?
I don't know. I've never. ADHD. They come across it, and it's something to do with maybe it's calming. It's something to do with calming down.
I don't know if it's like, to me, I wondered if it was like a sedative or something, because they're so high.
No.
Do they?
Yeah, it's generally ADHD and personality disorder that'll have the medication.
The most common thing is with you lot is that you'll most likely come across people with Asperger's.
What about the bedroom thing then? Because we get approached time and time again for people that can't share a bedroom with their sibling because of having autism.
Because they don't like things being touched, they don't like things being moved maybe. They don't like...
Is that... do you
That
think
might be
that's
what it is. That
likely
could be
to
what it
be
is.
the case in most cases? Or do you think it'll be different with
It
different
might be
individuals?
that, yeah, it might be that. They just don't like the things being touched, they don't like it when things are moved. They might like things in a certain place, every time they come in the room it's changed. It may be that, but everyone's different. That's my opinion on.
Like you said about them wanting their own space.
Yeah, they might want to be on their own, yeah.
To escape to.
It's their own territory, isn't it?
I think our management team are quite unsympathetic towards it. It's like, oh, they only want an extra bedroom.
At the end of the day, it's a recognised disability. It is a recognised disability every time. Every single form now that says autism or Asperger's syndrome. It is a recognised disability. You have to cater for it. You have to. And they don't. They've just released autism-friendly cinemas.
Oh.
Screenings as well, apparently they, because a lot of people with autism are afraid of cinemas because of the volume. It's too loud for them. They're doing screenings where the volume's down, and maybe some of the lights are maybe the cinema lights are on a bit, so it's not so in your face, the lights of the screen. Things like that, or they dim the brightness of the screen and stuff like that. So that's because they obviously do it for the blind and deaf. Why not the autistic? Look?
Well, why not?
You know what I mean?
Anyway.
I've done an hour, haven't I?
You've done 50 minutes, but it's very good. I'll let you carry on because I think the topic, well, you've done very well, but I also think the topic is so valuable to us as teachers anyway, that I was going to let you carry on because I've learned a great deal from that. As somebody who's been in teaching 20 years. So
I'm just sorry about the overload. It is a lot of it taking, isn't it?
No, but you presented it very well and it was very, so big round of applause.